The term action research was coined by German-American psychologist Kurt Lewin as part of his work in the 1940s on improving intergroup relations in the United States. His action research cycle of planning, action, and fact-finding continues to influence action research to this day. Although Lewin did take a quantitative approach, testing a hypothesis in his study, he believed that research should go beyond the traditional generation of theory. In his classic 1946 article, Action Research and Minority Problems, Lewin famously wrote, "Research that produces nothing but books will not suffice." Though Lewin constructed the theory of action research, there are examples of the method that predate his 1946 study. Sociologist William Foote White pioneered participatory observation in his classic study called Street Corner Society from 1938 to 1943. Only later did he realize the study included elements of participatory action research, a variation of action research in which those affected by an issue are involved in the design, implementation, and analysis of a study. Best known for pioneering participant observation, Foote nonetheless became one of the major proponents of participatory action research in the 1980s and 90s. Wrote Foote, "I believe participatory action research is a powerful strategy that can make scientific contributions as well as achieve important practical results not available through other strategies." Many consider Brazilian educator Paulo Freire as the theoretical father of participatory action research. In his Pedagogy of the Oppressed, Freire offered a critical pedagogy that moved away from the hierarchical model of a teacher imparting wisdom upon a passive classroom to one where students participated on a more equal basis in their own education. He also applied this principle to research, urging a shift away from studying the oppressed as passive subjects. Freire wrote, "The silenced are not just incidental to the curiosity of the researcher, but are the masters of inquiry into the underlying causes of the events in their world. In this context, research becomes a means of moving them beyond silence into a quest to proclaim the world." Inspired by Freire's pedagogical principles, Brazilian sociologist Orlando Falsborda popularized the concept of participatory action research, organizing the world's first PAR conferences. His own participatory action research with poor villagers in Mexico, Nicaragua, and Colombia inspired a generation of action researchers. Overtly political, Falsborda saw PAR as a practical way by which the oppressed could become protagonists in the advancement of their own society and in defense of their own class and group interests. Wrote Falsborda, "To participate means to break up voluntarily and through experience the asymmetrical relationship of submission and dependence implicit in the subject-object binomial. Such is its authentic essence." Both Freire and Falsborda were inspired by Italian Marxist philosopher Antonio Gramsci, who believed that all people had the capability to think for themselves, but that social structures inhibited independent thinking. He argued for ways of harnessing this potential among the oppressed, and his disciples saw participatory action research as a way of doing that. His work supported the concept of professional researchers and participants being co-researchers, learning from each other. Wrote Gramsci, "All men are intellectuals, but not all men in society have the function of intellectuals." Action research is not relegated to one medium. For example, Memorial University Extension Services Director Don Snowden, along with National Film Board filmmaker Colin Lowe, pioneered participatory video in the 1960s on Fogo Island in Newfoundland. The project helped improve the quality of life there. The resulting participatory action approach became known as the Fogo process and has been emulated all over the world. In participatory video, people affected by an issue tell their own stories through active involvement in the planning, production, and editing of video. Speaking about the success of participatory video on Fogo Island, Snowden said, Films did not do these things. People did them. There's little doubt, however, that film created a sense of awareness and self-confidence that was needed for people-advocated development to occur. Muhammad Yunus, the most famous person on this list, is rarely mentioned in books about action research, but his own action research yielded dramatic results. His action research on the poverty in his native Bangladesh led Yunus to found the Grameen Bank Microlending Institution in 1976. By late 2010, the Grameen Bank had loaned $6 billion to 7.4 million Bangladeshi micro-entrepreneurs, most of them women. Yunus and the Grameen Bank were awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. Thus, the potential of action research, recognized by Kurt Lewin 60 years earlier, had come to fruition. Much more than books have been produced by action research.